Kentucky forward Mo Diabate told reporters after practice that this defense is going to be really good. In fact, specifically, he said this is going to be one of the best Kentucky defenses in a while. Dion, I think there's some merit to this statement. It's not just player speak, if you want to draw like a player speak to coach speak comp or whatever. Between Mo D, Ortega, JQ, yeah, they should be pretty good. But what do you make about these comments from Diabate? How high do you think this Kentucky team's defensive ceiling is?
So he's saying it ever?
He said in a while, one of the best Kentucky defenses in a while.
What is I that's such a it's such a blanket statement. I don't disagree with it.
Yeah, I don't either, especially looking at like I can't really remember watching a Kentucky team in the past 5 or 6 seasons thinking they were elite defensively, unless I'm forgetting one.
It's
You
a
have to go,
blanket statement though. It's a
you
very
have
blanket statement.
here's a stat for you. You have to go all the way back to 2019 to find a Kentucky team that was ranked higher than 35th in defensive efficiency on KenPom.
That's 5 years ago.
Six. Six
It-
seasons is a lot. The game has changed a lot since then. You got to go back to pre-pandemic times to find a good Kentucky defense.
5 years ago. So you got to go back 5 years to find it. And by the way, Cal packed it in for one of those years.
He definitely did, but like that 2019 team had PJ Washington, Tyler Hero, probably shouldn't have been as good defensively as it was, but was number 8th in the country. Since then, been a bit of a steady decline. I think like during Cal's golden years, I remember always thinking that one of his best traits as a coach was how well he got freshmen to play defense together. Definitely saw that slip in recent years. And I know Pope's team took a lot of criticism on that end. They finished just outside the top 50 per KenPom, 51st. And I know Kentucky fans love to cite like the last 10 games of the season. They were like top 10 defensively or whatever. And they had a lot of good pieces between Amari Williams, between Ortega, between Lamont Butler. And it didn't make sense why it didn't come together almost immediately or more quickly. However, I see the upside with this group. I think Diabate is really strong and can guard pretty much any position. He's really good at guarding bigger players in the post, and he's comfortable sliding his feet on the perimeter and getting switched onto guards and ISO defense. I think JQ is like another worldly defender. What he did last year before the injury on just an absolutely garbage team was so impressive to me. The fact that he still like took pride playing defense when they weren't winning games and he was watching his guards just hog the ball. Like I think getting him under some real coaching and with better players around him, if he is healthy, could make him like a top 3 defender in the sport. Like this time next year, we could be saying JQ was the best rim protector last season, and we're looking at him going lotto. But yeah, so I don't think these comments are unfounded by any means.
No, I really don't think it's crazy. I really don't think it's crazy. I again, blanket statement though. Like what does in a while mean? Because like to me, in a while, I would go back 10 years.
That's fair.
And I think if you go back to 2015, I don't think I agree with the statement. But like if we're going back to like 2020, absolutely. And if we're comparing it to last year, I 100% think it's a better defense than last year. And I think when you look at an Ortega, um, I still think individually Ortega is one of the best defenders Kentucky's had, specifically on the wing
Hmm.
in a while. But I think he was forced to play a role that took him away from doing that. People like don't give enough credit to two-way wings. It isn't that easy to do. 3-and-D is easy, where you just stand at the three-point line, you shoot threes, and you play defense. That's a lot easier. Two-way, where you're creating and you're in a stance on the other side. Like you can't. No, that's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of work. And I think Ortega felt the brunt of that work. Jackson
Hmm.
Robinson clearly felt the brunt of that work. You know what I mean? And I think you bring Ortega back, you bring in a Mo Diabate, you bring in my guy JQ.
Hmm.
These are a lot of dudes that can help Ortega on both ends of the floor
Hmm.
and allow him to be the best version of himself on both ends of the floor. And if you're getting the best version of Ortega on defense, you're getting my guy JQ, who I've said this a million times. If he was old enough, he would be in the NBA tomorrow being drafted. Riley and I would be doing a video on it. And I really do believe this. He'd be one of the best defenders in the league tomorrow. And he's going to be playing college basketball next year, coming off a torn ACL. So, we will remain patient with him. But I think you're setting yourself up to have a phenomenal defense.
This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
For sure. I like with JQ, you really can't say enough about the tools, the instincts, all of that. If I could play like a slight devil's advocate, don't get me wrong, I would how do I want to say this actually now that I think about it? With JQ, if JQ is healthy, even by like December, January, I would feel very confident saying Kentucky will be at least a top 15 defense. Without JQ, probably still top 30. I'm not a huge Brandon Garrison believer. I think there's probably a lot of Kentucky fans who aren't really Brandon Garrison believers. I know he can theoretically protect the rim, but aside from him, I don't know. I think like JQ is definitely the swing piece here that makes this unit elite. I know I said a bunch of nice things about Mo Diabate. Sometimes I do wonder if the thought of Mo Diabate is better than Mo Diabate himself. Just because like he is a versatile defender, but he played 16 minutes a game last year. It's really productive, averaged 7 and 5 in 16 minutes. But I do wonder if like his lack of offensive skill sort of caps how many minutes you want to play him. Especially when someone like Andrea Jelic, who I'm super high on, the Serbian kid coming over, like is in there to be a stretch four and to do all the Andrew Carr type things, but probably at a higher level.
Mhm.
Now, maybe Pope can unlock something new out of Diabate's game, but that's just the one pushback I would have is like he's almost all of his shots were at the rim last year. Almost all of them were assisted. I know he made 12 threes at like a 46% clip, but it's such a low volume that it's tough to even put stock into that because the jumper's pretty ugly. But yeah, that's my one like slight pushback to Kentucky fans who are like, oh, if they think they have this elite defensive front court, I mean, there's very much a chance that Diabate is playing once again 15, 16 minutes a game. And he's great
Yeah,
when he's out there, but it's not like he's giving you 30 minutes a night where he's harassing the other team's best perimeter option and able to bang with dudes in the post as well.
I think that's better. So I don't, in everyone's gonna disagree on this. I don't view Mo Diabate as like a 30-minute per game collegiate player. You know what I mean? So if you're telling me like there's a team that has JQ, uh, Malachi Moreno, Brandon Garrison, Otega Oweh, Mo Diabate, the list goes on, and that's just the front court. And Otega, of course. And Mo Diabate's only playing 16 minutes a game. And by the way, he's going to guard your best big, and he might mess around and guard your best wing too. And he gets 16 minutes, 5 fouls, and all his energy. I mean, good luck. Good
That's a
luck.
good point. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, honestly didn't think about it from that aspect. Yeah. Uh, honestly, I think that's probably the best version of Diabate. I think there's some Kentucky fans I've seen who have projected him being more of an Amari Williams type role, where he's facilitating at the top of the key, making reads and finding those cutters or getting to the basket, coming off of pin downs and everything. I don't really know if that's in his bag. As much as I like Mark Pope and believe in his ability to develop players, I still think what you're saying is the best role suited for him, especially when you have these other versatile pieces in the front court. But we'll see how it all shakes out. Like we've been saying, this should be a much improved defense from last season with a really, really high ceiling.